Three boys attacked the new girl in the cafeteria. Seconds later, they weren't laughing anymore. The story begins on a chilly Monday morning, when the high school cafeteria was buzzing with chatter, laughter, and the clattering of trays. It was one of those chaotic scenes where everyone seemed to have their own little world. At the entrance stood a girl nobody knew yet. Her name was Emma. She clutched her tray tightly, her hands trembling, and her brown eyes darted nervously from one table to another. This was her first day at the new school, and like any teenager, she only wanted to blend in, to be invisible for a little while until she found her footing. But fate had other plans. She walked cautiously toward an empty table in the corner, hoping she wouldn't draw attention. But three boys, the kind everyone in school knew, the loud, cocky ones who thought they owned the place, noticed her. Their names were Jason, Luke, and Ryan. Together, they were trouble. They swaggered over, smirks plastered on their faces, blocking Emma's path. "Hey, new girl," Jason sneered. "Where do you think you're going?" Emma said nothing. She wasn't used to confrontation. Her silence, however, only fueled their arrogance. Luke reached over and gave her tray a shove. The food toppled, crashing to the floor, splattering everywhere. The cafeteria erupted in laughter. Emma froze, her face turning red, her eyes filling with tears she tried desperately to hide. Ryan bent down, smirking, and whispered loud enough for everyone to hear, "Guess you don't belong here." The entire cafeteria was now watching. Some students laughed, some whispered, and some looked away uncomfortably. Nobody stepped in. For Emma, those seconds felt like hours, a cruel spotlight exposing her fear. But then, something happened that no one expected. At the far side of the cafeteria, a chair screeched against the floor. A tall boy stood up, someone Emma hadn't noticed before. His name was Daniel. He was quiet, reserved, but he carried an air of quiet strength that made people respect him. Daniel was no stranger to bullying. He had been the target once, years ago, before he learned how to stand up not just for himself, but for others. The room fell silent as Daniel walked steadily toward the scene. Jason rolled his eyes. "What, you're gonna save the princess?" He mocked, loud enough for the crowd to laugh again. But Daniel didn't laugh. He stood between Emma and the boys, his voice calm but firm. "Pick it up," he said, looking directly at Jason. Jason scoffed. "Or what?" The tension grew thick. Daniel didn't raise his voice, but his words cut like steel. "Or you'll prove what everyone already knows, that you're just cowards who pick on people weaker than you." The cafeteria gasped. Jason's smirk faltered. Luke shifted uncomfortably, suddenly aware of the dozens of eyes watching. Ryan tried to laugh it off, but his voice cracked. For the first time, the bullies weren't in control. Daniel bent down and picked up the tray himself, placing it gently back in Emma's hands. Then, with a steady look at the boys, he added, "Strength isn't about making others small. It's about lifting them up." Those words sank into the room like a stone in water, rippling through every student. Even the teachers, who had just entered after hearing the commotion, stood still for a moment, witnessing something far more powerful than discipline, a lesson in real courage. Emma's tears fell then, but they weren't just from humiliation anymore. They were mixed with relief, gratitude, and something she hadn't felt in a long time, hope. She sat at the empty table, and this time, Daniel sat beside her. A few more students followed, breaking the silence, showing her that she wasn't alone anymore. Jason, Luke, and Ryan backed away, their faces pale. They weren't laughing anymore, and for the first time, they felt the sting of being powerless. Not because of fists or threats, but because someone had dared to confront them with truth. In the days that followed, the cafeteria story spread through the school. Emma was no longer the new girl. She was the girl who had been defended, the girl who wasn't invisible. And Daniel wasn't just a quiet student anymore. He became a symbol of courage, proof that one voice could silence cruelty, one act of kindness could rewrite someone's story. The bullies tried to hold onto their reputation, but something had shifted. People stopped laughing at their jokes. Their power crumbled because Daniel had shown everyone that it was possible to stand up, and that strength came from kindness, not cruelty. Emma's life changed in ways she never imagined. She gained friends, confidence, and the belief that she had a place in this world. She later found her own voice, speaking up for others when they faced what she once did. And Daniel, He continued to lead not with arrogance, but with quiet bravery, inspiring others without even trying. The story of that day didn't just end in the cafeteria. It lived on in every student who watched, every teacher who heard, and every heart that realized the truth. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is simply stand up for what's right. So if you're watching this, remember, courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes it's as simple as saying, enough. Be that voice. Be that light. Because one small act can change someone's entire world. And if this story touched you, if you believe in kindness, courage, and standing up for others, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share this story. Together, we can spread the message that bullying doesn't define anyone, but kindness always does.